Hello everyone, Vic here with PhoneArena, and today we'll talk about the upcoming brand new Samsung Galaxy S21 series. This will be the first major launch of flagship phones for 2021. We expect all three of them, so let's talk about them. And first, the names. We have officially leaked now with official videos from Samsung. The names will be Galaxy S21, Galaxy S21 Plus, and Galaxy S21 Ultra, basically following in the tradition and the naming scheme of last year's 2020 Galaxy S20 series. So the Galaxy S21 will naturally be the smallest of the bunch with a 6.2-inch display. The Galaxy S21 Plus will be a larger phone with a 6.7-inch screen, and finally the Galaxy S21 Ultra will have a larger screen and the largest battery, 6.8-inch screen. It will also be a little bit thicker than the rest. So this is how they differ in terms of size. But what about the displays? Now there will be one phone in this bunch, the Galaxy S21 Ultra, that will still keep that curved edge screen. And the other difference between these phones is, again, all three will feature a fast refresh rate, 120 Hz. Of course, optional, you can choose to use it at 60 Hz to preserve battery. Now the other advantage the more expensive a premium S21 Ultra has is in resolution. It will be the first Galaxy phones to offer 120 Hz fast refresh rate at the full Quad HD resolution. And speaking of resolution, the S21 Ultra will be the only one to offer that higher Quad HD resolution, while the other two, the S21 and S21 Plus, will come with a resolution of 1080p. As you have probably noticed, there is a bit of a difference between the S21 and S21 Plus on one hand, and then the more premium S21 Ultra. And this might also continue in the actual materials that Samsung is using to make these phones. Now we have already seen the first video of a live Galaxy S21 Plus phone compared to an iPhone 12 Pro Max, and interestingly it seems, but we cannot tell for sure, but it seems from the video that the S21 Plus, and we have the rumors for S21, that both these phones will be made using plastic, good old plastic for the back instead of the glass. And last but not least, we should say that these will be the first phones to come with a super bright AMOLED screen. Maximum brightness is rumored to go up to 1600 nits, which means these displays will get crazy bright and you will be able to use them easily outdoors in the bright sun. Okay, next up, let's talk cameras, because cameras are the big differentiator these days. And luckily, the Galaxy S21 series will feature a brand new design that looks kind of dope. I like the styling. The camera island now kind of blends with the size of the phone, and it's a very interesting design, very unique. No other phone has this. And you can see the live leaked photos that showcase what this design will look like. And you see the S21 and S21 Plus coming with three separate cameras. This is the same setup that is used on the S20, and so far rumors go as far as to claim that there will be no huge differences in image quality. So what do we get on the S21 and S21 Plus? A 12 megapixel main camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, and then we have a kind of a zoom telephoto camera, but that on the S20 wasn't a real telephoto camera. It was just a larger 64 megapixel sensor that Samsung used to digitally zoom in and give you that telephoto-like experience. And that is likely what we'll also see in the S21 series. Now the S21 Ultra, however, is a different beast. It features 4 different cameras with this huge camera island with a bigger camera bump. It's just a bigger phone overall. But the difference is the main camera first. It's not a 12 megapixel one as on the S21 and S21 Plus. It's a 108 megapixel shooter. Now the S20 Ultra last year also used a 108 megapixel camera, so Samsung has some experience with that, but this year it's rumored to be improved and even better. And the focusing issues that we had last year with the S20 Ultra are now rumored to be fixed thanks to the inclusion of a laser autofocus in the camera unit. The other camera, we have a 12 megapixel ultra wide shooter, but then what happens is something interesting. You have two different cameras for zooming. One of them is rumored to go as far as 3 times zoom for that mid-range zoom, and then you have that periscope zoom lens that goes under the camera unit and diffuses light in a very interesting way, and it gives you 10 times native optical zoom, which is a great distance. So far, previously the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra came with 5 times periscope zoom camera, and now we get 10 times So under the hood, what do we have? All three phones powered by the very same chip. In the US, you get the Snapdragon 888 chip, the latest and greatest from Qualcomm, the first phone with this chip on the market. Of course, Samsung is willing to go there to give you the fastest performance, and we indeed expect these phones to be crazy fast. Outside the United States, this year you get an Exynos 2100 chip, which previously you probably remember, Exynos chips always have this reputation of being a bit slower, a bit less power efficient, so battery life ends up not being quite as good on these phones as the Snapdragon models. This year, Samsung is rumored to have really closed the gap, and the Exynos chip this year is said to be very close in terms of performance to the Snapdragon 888, both in terms of performance actually and in terms of power efficiency. So good news on that front, and we'll test and see when these phones come out. And speaking of the release dates, Samsung is already rumored to have an exact date for the announcement. January 14 is when we'll see that announcement, with rumored release date launch on at the end of January, probably January 29, something along those lines is what's in the rumor mill right now. Okay, next up, let's talk battery. First, the Galaxy S21, being the smallest in the bunch, also has the smallest battery. It has a 4000 mAh battery, which is the same size as on last year's S20 model. Interestingly, however, the S21 Plus has a larger battery than last year's model. It comes with a 4800 mAh cell compared to a 4500 mAh battery on last year's S20 Plus, and we expect this particular model to offer big gains in battery life, and chances are that it might be the longest lasting phone of the bunch. So what about the S21 Ultra? Yes, it will have the largest 5000 mAh battery, it will be the bulkiest phone in the bunch, but interestingly it will use that high resolution, so we're not sure if it will actually turn up to have the greatest battery life. And speaking of the battery, you also have to talk about charging, and that's where things get interesting. And that's because Samsung is rumored to actually drop the battery charger from the box, and the phones are rumored to ship with just a charging cable but no power adapter. And that's a weird thing, because we saw Samsung make fun of Apple when they launched the iPhone 12 series for not including the charger, and it now seems that just a few months after that, Samsung is also going the same way by dropping the charger in the box. But what's the underlying reason? The underlying reason, ladies and gentlemen, might be a good one, and that is that Samsung actually wants to drop the prices of its phones, because last year the S20 series started at pretty high initial prices. $1,000 for the S20, $1,100 for the S20 Plus, $1,400 for the S20 Ultra. This year we could see a decrease in pricing, a drop of nearly $150 to maybe $200 depending on the models, and the S21 Ultra might start at a price as low as $1,250, which is a pretty good price compared to last year's model, and the smaller S21 might start at as low as $850. So that remains to be seen, but these are pretty good prices. What else? Of course, expect to see 5G connectivity on all three phones, millimeter wave, sub-6, all bands should be included depending on your market, of course, but in the US you'll get millimeter wave support and all the necessary bands. You should not be worried about that. Charging speeds. Rumors are they will support up to 25 watts. We're not yet sure whether they will support those 45 watt speeds that we saw earlier in 2020. Curiously, Samsung has dropped that support on the Note 20 Ultra line, so it might be gone on the S21 as well, but 25 watt charging is a safe bet. We'll also have wireless charging, of course, no headphone jack, all the usual stuff. And finally, last but not least, I am personally very excited that Samsung might fix one feature that has been a big problem for their phones in the past, and that is the fingerprint scanner. Samsung is the only major phone manufacturer that uses an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, and the experience with it is not quite great. It's a bit slower than all the rest, it works not every time, and it's just not quite as accurate as fast as other solutions. So here's what will change this year. Chances are that Samsung for the first time will adopt the next generation of that technology, and the fingerprint scanner itself will be a lot bigger. The area of it will be much larger, so it will be easier to find it, to press it, and also we expect to see a much needed improvement in speed, so it will be faster to unlock your phone. And that's about it. That's about everything we know about the Galaxy S20 series. 3 new phones, 3 new opportunities for Samsung. Let us know which one you think will be a best fit for you. Are you excited about these phones? What do you think about the plastic construction? And what about those newer cameras on the S21 Ultra? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. My name is Vic. As always, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Hope to see you on our website, www.phonearena.com, and I'll talk to you in the next one.